Reality shifting, a phenomenon in which a person actively projects their consciousness from their current reality to another through numerous techniques, usually involving some combination of deep focus and manifestation. The sudden rise in reality shifting can likely be attributed to viral TikToks, such as ones labeled with hashtag Draco Malfoy, which in total has almost 20 billion views. Amidst wholesome Harry Potter fan edits, numerous videos explain how people can literally be with Draco Malfoy at Hogwarts through reality shifting. But shifters aren't limited to fictional locations and can experience any desired reality of their choosing. As this trend continues, the hashtag reality shifting specifically has garnered almost 400 million views on its own. My name's Anthony Padilla, and today I'm going to be sitting down with reality shifters to learn the truth about this elusive and often controversial practice. Is reality shifting a truly revolutionary mentality that has the potential to shape the way humanity experiences consciousness forever? Or is it nothing more than deeply vivid imagination, or just a trendier version of the ancient art of self-induced lucid dreaming? Hello, Cam.
Hi.
Daniel.
Hi, Anthony. How's it going?
Kristen.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming on here and teaching me about the world of reality shifting.
A real pleasure, thank you.
What do you consider yourself? A reality shifter? Someone who understands the concept of projecting your consciousness?
I would consider myself a shifter.
A reality shifter.
My background is something called lucid dreaming. Now, lucid dreaming is the ability to know that you're dreaming while dreaming.
Are you comfortable referring to yourself as a reality shifter? Or do you think that's they're different things?
I certainly don't have any issue with the terminology. I know that reality shifting has become a really popular phrase recently, and anything that gets people thinking about the mind and how the mind works, I'm all for.
What does reality shifting entail in general?
The belief that the multiverse is real. There are nearly an infinite amount of realities, and we're just choosing which one we want to experience.
Essentially taking your consciousness and literally shifting it to another reality. That reality could be like anything that you've envisioned, or it could be actual realities like Hogwarts or Narnia.
So really the experience is a lot like falling asleep consciously. It's basically you're bringing your awareness along for the ride. Fall into a dream and then suddenly realize, oh, this is a dream, I can control it. And I would live out all of my childhood wishes, flying into space. That was the main one, really.
Is there more than one method to shift?
There are two main divisions. There's sleeping methods and awake methods. Sleeping methods are methods that you use when you're planning to go to sleep and then shift during. Awake methods are methods that you do when you're awake and you're conscious, so that you shift while you're conscious.
Some of the more popular methods would be the Raven method, the Sunny method, the lucid dreaming method. A lot of those are just kind of waiting until you reach that state in between consciousness and unconsciousness, and then setting the intent to shift. I am most familiar with the Raven method. It's where you lay on your back in starfish pose, you count to 100. During those countings, you make sure you're affirming, you're visualizing where you want to go, and then at 100, you're done kind of with the method. You just set the intention you're going to shift, you fall asleep, and when you wake up, you're there.
The best approach is to build up this sort of critical thinking about the world around you. Any strange events are suddenly a cue to step back and think, oh, this could be a dream.
Yeah.
And then you can do what's called a reality test. Now, a really simple one is you pinch your nose and you try to breathe through your pinched nose.
Okay, I'll try it right now. It made my ears tighten up and made me feel like I wanted to die.
But you couldn't breathe through it, right?
Correct. My lungs were about to collapse.
But if you were dreaming, you'd be able to breathe through your pinched nose, because what you'd be pinching is an imagined nose. So if you make this a regular habit, then eventually you'll do this in a dream.
Right.
And then you'll breathe through the pinched nose, you go, I'm dreaming. And then once you know that you're dreaming, that you're in a universe of the mind where you're essentially the creator of that world and anything is possible.
Can you describe what process works for you and what that feels like?
So what I do is that you write out your script, you read it a couple times, you put it under your pillow, and you just go to sleep saying affirmations. And I mix it with the Estelle method. You envision yourself dancing with the person. When the music ends, that person leads you to a door, and they ask, are you ready? I say yes. I'll basically open the door and you'll be there. That's what it feels like.
Can you describe what scripting is?
Setting the parameters of the universe you want to go to. So you can script being in relationships. You can script the type of house you have. You can script what classes you're taking. Or you can just set it to a universe that you're already aware of, something like Harry Potter, Doctor Who, Marvel. It's not making a reality. It's just deciding which one you want to focus on.
How do you feel about scripts that are kind of pre-written online with like fill in the blank gaps?
Well, I think whatever works for you, whatever helps you define it best, I'm 100% okay with it. You don't even have to script if you don't want to. It just is you specifically choosing. I guess you could kind of let it roulette wheel and just let your subconscious decide where you're going to end up. That sounds a bit scary, but people do it. I've heard of people ending up in Attack on Titan, and it freaks me out a little bit.
No thanks. That's already too scary to watch anyway. Horrified. I actually printed out one of the fill-in-the-blank scripts, so I wanted to get your opinion on how you think this would work, and if you think it would work. Okay. So this one is for the Marvel universe, and it starts with, my name is blank, my superpowers are blank, I am from blank, insert planet name, I am healthy, I cannot get sick, I cannot die or incur any major harm, nothing I encounter will traumatize me. I'm gonna script that into my own physical current reality.
I don't personally believe you can script out things like trauma or getting too attached. I think if you come back to your reality, even if you've scripted that, or that you don't get too attached and you think more on it and suddenly everything hits you at once, that script isn't going to help you.
So do you feel like this kind of would invalidate the entire script, or do you think that some people might add in details that just they cannot control?
The script is perfectly fine, and honestly, if people want to script that, it just means they won't be traumatized there or feel any sort of trauma there, and that's all fine and good as well if you just want to have a chill time.
Can you show us any of the scripts that you've written?
This one is for My Hero Academia. My name is like Lilith Phantom Hive.
Good one, good one.
The other things that I would script would be like health-wise, I'm okay, I can't get permanently injured. I sleep well, I have unlimited money. I want to be able to eat as much food as I want, so I need money.
Yeah, so do you say that you will remain healthy no matter how much food you eat?
Yes, I put I can't gain weight, so we're good.
Do you alter your physical appearance and like what you're capable of?
Yes, I make myself taller. I usually make myself like buffer because I'm like, I'm gonna get ready to throw some hands if anyone tries anything.
This all sounds way easier than working out and getting plastic surgery.
Why do that when I can just shift realities?
Before we continue learning about the world of reality shifting,
I definitely think that these realities are realities that already exist. All we're doing is tapping into our own power that allows us to go to those realities. I believe that there are infinite versions of ourselves within each of those universes.
I'd like to thank our sponsor, ExpressVPN, for our continued partnership that allows us to continue this series and support all the fascinatingly beautiful people that help make this series possible behind the scenes. For those of you who don't usually watch this series, allow me to explain what ExpressVPN is all about. ExpressVPN is an app and browser extension that protects your privacy and security online while allowing you to place your device anywhere in the world so you can watch everything you don't usually have access to in your region. So let's say you are interested in dabbling in reality shifting and you want a little inspiration by rewatching the most incredible fantasy saga ever created by mankind, but it's not available to stream for free in your region. No worries. ExpressVPN hides your IP address and lets you select where you want sites to think you're located, and you can choose from almost 100 different countries, so you're covered. ExpressVPN actually works with any streaming service though, like Hulu, BBC iPlayer, YouTube, Crunchyroll, and all the others, even that one. Yes, you know which one I'm talking about. Visit expressvpn.com/Padilla to learn more, or click the link down in the description to get an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN for free. Again, that's expressvpn.com/Padilla for an extra 3 months. Support them, support us, and surf the web from anywhere in the world. Now, back to the world of reality shifting. When did you first shift and what was that like?
I recall a wake-initiated lucid dream, so falling asleep consciously, being in bed and then falling backwards through a tunnel.
Kind of like the scene in Get Out. He was just like in a black void falling.
Oddly enough, when I ended up in the dream or the shift, I was back in my bed, thought I just woken up, but it was actually a dream. And then I looked out the window and there was a giant rainbow fish just flying through the sky. And I was like, okay, so this is definitely not waking reality at this point. I flew around a bit. I didn't do anything. I was about to say didn't do anything too exciting, but I was flying.
So. I just flew around with my mind. Nothing too special.
I decided to not do any methods. I was just tired, right? So I went to sleep and I woke up just thinking I'd be in my room. But I wasn't in my room. I was in somewhere completely different, and that's why I thought I got kidnapped.
So this was a scary experience then.
I woke up in the bedroom that I scripted I'd wake up, but I didn't really understand that that was the bedroom. All I knew is that I wasn't in my original room.
How often do you shift?
I usually shift once every month or every 2 months.
Okay, so it's actually a lot more rare than I think some people would imagine it to be.
I cannot physically deal with 2 lives at the same time.
Maybe 2 to 3 times a week would be my yearly average.
And what's your favorite kind of reality to experience?
I used to be I still am a massive fan of the Star Trek universe. In the Star Trek universe, they have the holodeck, which is basically their version of virtual reality. So it's a computer program, you go in and you can create anything. Well, I dream of going to the Star Trek universe, go into the holodeck, and then I can immediately go anywhere because
there's
it's all
multiple
computer-generated.
steps, but it like allows you to kind of experience the infinite universe.
Half of the problem with controlling these situations is believing it's possible. We have these deep expectations that that's how the world works. So when you're dreaming, your mind essentially goes, well, these rules still apply.
But it seems like it'd be easy to tell yourself that you're going to this different place where this is the reality.
Exactly. And that's something which I call reframing. So you reframe your expectations in a new way.
Do these alternate realities actually exist in an infinite universe, or is it more so something that you just conjure up in your mind?
I definitely think that these realities are realities that already exist. All we're doing is tapping into our own power that allows us to go to those realities. I believe that there are infinite versions of ourselves. So all we have to do is just make sure that our consciousness gets there.
They're already there, very much like the DC or Marvel multiverse that you would see. With each separate decision we make, it branches off into a separate reality. So while there aren't technically an infinite amount, it is a number I couldn't even begin to say.
As many stars as there are in the universe, which is more than the amount of grains of sand that there are on Earth.
Yeah, I would say possibly even more than that. Actually, it's stupid.
Are there any other big experiences that stand out to you?
In everything from conscious stars that I've communicated with to walking around amongst the ants and sort of experiencing their world. It's just the more you do, the more creative you get, the braver you get with it. And then you start doing things like stepping in front of traffic or it's fascinating to see how your mind deals with its assumption that it's going to cease to be, and then it creates a model of what the afterlife would be like.
The human brain is not capable of imagining it ceasing to exist. It's just not. So when you experience these things in a different realm or reality or in a dream, it kind of goes on to create other parts of you because it can't imagine not existing at all.
The nearest I can get to explaining what nothingness is trying to remember before you were born, and even then your brain tries to fill in the gaps.
How did you first learn about reality shifting?
Maybe 2014, 2015. I learned about it from like a Reddit post about like shifting realities, but they didn't go too much into detail. It was only last year around August that I was on TikTok and someone was talking about it. But when they were explaining it, I thought it was like absolute bullshit, right?
I mean, it sounds like bullshit. It does, without going deeper into it.
Bullshit, but I kind of believed it, so.
Do you feel like reality shifting can be a healthy coping mechanism for people who are struggling with real life issues?
I think it's good as a coping mechanism, but I don't think that they should rely on it too much. Your entire life will begin to revolve around shifting, and the more that you can't do it, or the more that you feel like you're being held back, the more depressed and the more angry you're going to get, and the more miserable you're going to get.
How do you feel coming back to your current reality after going to these different worlds?
Refreshing, exciting, exhilarating.
Really? It doesn't feel boring or like you're experiencing less than what you're capable of experiencing?
If you believe you're going elsewhere, then there's this kind of sense of missing out, of jealousy, of loss. So if you're concluding that, then you might lead yourself into a slightly unhealthy mindset. If you conclude that the places you're visiting are the product of the mind, when you come back, you're exhilarated that you've done something so amazing. And once you realize that you can paint a universe with your mind and it feels entirely convincing, coming back from that doesn't diminish you. It expands your sense of pride and wonder.
I've read some in-depth pages from people who take reality shifting very seriously, warning against bringing pets into your desired reality, because they warn, you have to be able to account for the amount of time and attention that they require. And you have to have a veterinarian picked out. You need to be prepared to take care of them if they're ever in danger. How deep does this all go? Does that seem like something that aligns with the way that everyone views reality shifting?
The belief in the community is that every reality is equally as real and valid as this one. They're completely real people with completely real feelings and experiences. That's why we don't encourage going around and killing people. We don't encourage anything that you wouldn't do here.
So it's not like this fantasy land where people have god powers and can do whatever they want with no consequences.
I mean, I guess it could be if you want to script that, but generally no, everything has consequences.
Have you ever experienced anything that made you feel uncomfortable in any of these realities?
Yes, definitely. Because in my desired reality, there are a lot of people that are after me. And I don't script that. Just how there's harassment in this world, I've faced harassment in my desired reality, which is super uncomfortable.
Can you feel pain? Can you die? I mean, can you get stuck?
You cannot get stuck. There's no way you can ever get stuck. That makes no damn sense, okay? What are you trying to pull here?
I mean, although we could go down the path of if there's infinite possibilities and there is the possibility that there is a world where that does exist.
Yeah, it is
so maybe, does that kind of break down your theories at all?
A little bit, but that makes complete sense what you're saying. But I highly doubt you're going to shift to be in that reality.
Do you think there's a risk of ever wanting to stay in your altered state forever?
Oh yeah, and that's one of the reasons I'm so hesitant to condone minor shifting, especially if you're trying to escape from something here, because shifting is a form of escapism. If you're in a horrible situation here and you go over there and it's just euphoric, it's all fun and games, yeah, you're gonna want to stay.
It sounds like in many ways it kind of runs parallel with substance abuse.
It can be very hard not to get severely attached to that. And I would recommend keeping something here that you can only have here, so that you don't feel the need to stay there.
Before we continue learning even more about the world of reality shifting, I wanted to take another moment to thank our sponsor, BetterHelp, for our continued partnership. I've been pretty outspoken about how therapy has been really helpful for me, but therapy can be whatever you want it to be and can be super helpful in offering tools to help with motivation or feelings of depression, anxiety, stress, insecurity, or honestly, whatever you need. BetterHelp has been continuing to improve throughout the years and screens all therapists to ensure that they have experience and are certified and that they're licensed. And they provide customized online therapy that offers video, phone, even live chat sessions with your licensed therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera or speak to anyone on the phone if you're not comfortable with that. Therapy can be expensive, and the price of finding a therapist you like can really start to add up, which is why BetterHelp offers a more affordable alternative to in-person therapy, where you can start communicating with your licensed therapist in less than 48 hours. So thanks again to our sponsor, BetterHelp, who are giving I Spend a Day with viewers and listeners 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Padilla. That's betterhelp.com/Padilla. Now back to the world of reality shifting. Like everything that anyone does that brings anyone joy, the reality shifting community has faced its own fair share of criticism and just hate from the outside. Why do you think that is?
Just because of the closed-mindedness that a lot of people have. It's a hard concept to grasp, like I said. A lot of people think that it's fake and it's just people using their imaginations to escape from, the hard reality, and there's only just this reality, and we're just trying to escape it.
Why do you think this has all gained so much popularity in the past few months or years?
Shows like Rick and Morty that explore the concept of multiple dimensions. Platforms such as TikTok have allowed ideas to spread so much quicker. The unfortunate, strange times we're living through, people are more prone to want to be somewhere else. We're all feeling very pent up at the moment. So I think the combination of all of those events has just led to this explosion of, well, this reality kind of sucks at the moment. Let's explore what else is available.
What would you say to anyone in the comments right now shaming reality shifting as a concept in general?
We're human. We have feelings, we have opinions, and this is something we choose to believe in. And I don't think we should be shamed for that. We're not hurting anybody with it. We're not hurting ourselves. Shifting has given a purpose to a lot of our community.
Can you recognize when someone is faking that they can reality shift?
Definitely. There are some stories and I'm like, no, Hermione did not just get up and start twerking when she got a question right. Are you for real?
But I mean, that does beg the question, if the universe really is infinite and there are infinite realities, doesn't that imply that that is a reality that does exist there?
It is a reality, but I highly doubt that they went to a reality where Hermione is twerking.
But I mean, how could you discount someone for having that experience when the discussion was just about how everyone has their own reality and it's impossible to know if someone's reality was real or not because it's impossible to prove?
If you allow things that are really far-fetched to just fester, it discredits everything.
But the concept of reality shifting in general is pretty far-fetched, as
yeah, it is pretty far-fetched, but compared to some of the things I hear, it sounds like some facts.
The whole concept in general is saying that anything is possible. Don't judge people for what they experience. So it does seem kind of like it's like, where is the line drawn?
I know when we say shifting realities, you can go anywhere, do anything. Your imagination is literally the limit. But I'd like to say that some of the things that happen in this reality and some of the rules and the laws follow no matter where we go.
I'm sure that's just as up for debate as the concept of reality shifting in general.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I saw a post from someone fervently demanding that lucid dreaming and reality shifting are two extremely different things and should never be compared, and anyone who does should be chastised in some way. And there were comments on there saying things like queen and poggers and, just completely agreeing with these things. How do you feel about the idea that some people are, for lack of a better term, gatekeeping and wanting to separate these two ideas and not wanting to see any mesh between them?
I think we want to believe it. It makes me feel better. It makes me feel like there's more to life than this. It makes me feel like I'm not stuck. And hearing that they are stuck is a source of frustration.
I don't think anyone wants to be told, oh, it was just in your head, if they really truly want to believe and have believed for any extended period of time that it was and is a reality.
It's like being told your friends aren't real, or your family isn't real, or your memories aren't real. It invalidates you. It invalidates those experiences.
What do you think is the biggest misconception about reality shifting?
That it's an incredibly easy thing to do. And it requires dedication, effort, the development of knowledge. If you wanted to be a concert pianist, you'd realize that it's going to take you a while to get there. You might be able to play a few tunes after a few months, but if you really want to do it, as with all things in life, if you dedicate yourself, you'll get there. And once you realize you can achieve that, you realize you can achieve almost anything.
All right, you got 5 seconds to shout out or promote anything you want directly in the camera. Go.
Snowing Soul on TikTok. Check me out. I talk about reality shifting, or I don't.
If you want to learn lucid dreaming or reality shifting, pop over to Lucid Dream Portal here on YouTube.
If you like paranormal psychology and the metaphysical world, just follow me at my channel on Christo.
Subscribe to Anthony. Do it.
Or you will reality shift into a reality that you are a part of.
Subscribed anyways.
Subscribe
Sorry.
anyways. Thank you so much, Daniel. I feel like I understand the world of reality shifting a little bit more.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I hope this helps expand people's minds.
After spending the day with these reality shifters, I've come to understand that whether it's just in someone's head or a lucid dream or an actual shift to an alternate reality, this new reality can very much be just as real to oneself. Therefore, it is indeed each of these shifters' own reality. And in a society in which isolation, anxiety, and hopelessness has become more prevalent than ever before, who are we to blame anyone for minding their own business and providing themselves a way to experience their their own peace of mind. See you later, bye guys.
Press a like.
But I mean, if I put myself in your shoes, or like we switched bodies for a day or something, a week, pretty
So
sure.
you'd be buff as hell, basically?
Yes. Are you buff as hell?
Absolutely.
Yeah, like if we...
Yeah, sorry I threw you off with that comment.
Yeah, I'm like, what am I saying?